In Larkin's poem Love Songs in Age, you'll remember, it was love that failed to solve and satisfy, failed to fill the emptiness at the core of the life of the character that he was exploring. In Faith Healing, which Larkin's letters date to 1960, it's religion that does something similar and fails to satisfy an emptiness at the heart of the people Larkin's writing about. Stanza 1 introduces us to a preacher. He's very much in the mould of Billy Graham, who was a charismatic, evangelistic preacher who was American, came over to the UK from about the 1960s onwards to increasingly large congregations. And Larkin has a rather cynical view of him, sees him as something of a charlatan, preying on these vulnerable women. We see that in details such as the silver hair, the rimless spectacles, and just simply the fact that he's American, which I think immediately is a red flag for Larkin. Larkin sees him, ironically, through similes like the warm spring of loving care that these women experience before being abruptly exiled. Like losing thoughts, a line that comes right at the end of the first stanza, that pivotal verb, exiled, perched, dangling at the end of the first stanza, the enjambment carrying it into the second stanza and giving it such profound emphasis within the poem. In the second verse, Larkin's attention switches to these women moustached in their flowered frocks. Many have seen that, similar to the way the women in the Whitsun Weddings in their parodies of fashion, seen Larkin sneering somewhat at the lower classes here, particularly female members of the lower classes, and references to the idiot child within that this preacher tries to temporarily release. There's perhaps some truth here. Larkin does seem a little bit patronising towards these women. However, does, I think, lurk some empathy, and there is some sensitivity to the fact that these women do seem to have something missing from within them, something that we can see as kindness or love. And so we arrive at the final stanza, in which Larkin does what Larkin so often does. He zooms out to encompass everyone, to universalise the sentiment and experience of the poem. In everyone there sleeps a sense of life lived according to love. That indefinite pronoun, everyone, so inclusive, making this not just something Larkin observes in others, but that Larkin recognises as a core part of the human experience. He uses that metaphor in the final verse, immense slackening, as when the rigid landscape weeps. That verb weeps, with its image of the frozen waters locked in motion within these women, all this reserve that has built up, suddenly thawing and melting, but captured in a verb that suggests the real sadness, as these women realise all time has disproved. Again, so similar to Love Songs in Age. What we learn from life is that the illusions that we harboured as youngsters were mere illusions that could never be satisfied. Love failed, and now religion, in the shape of the American preacher, has also failed.